Tonight, we're going to get into match selection. There's been some interesting choices at match committee this week. We're going to preview the Cats and the big Gold Coast Suns game this week. I'm seeing all of you lot calling me out in the chat for being late. I was a little bit too busy playing Mario Kart, to be perfectly honest. It's Switch 2 day. That's all we're here for right now. We're going to jump into the other games of this round. We're going to jump into some player spotlight action where Tom Atkins will be the focus this week. It's Q&A, game of the show. I've got plenty to choose from there because we've had a big PlayStation showcase this morning. And a whole lot more we'll do with your comments, your questions, your super chats, everything. So let's get into things. If you enjoy the show, please consider subscribing to the Hoops Crew on YouTube. Like this video, share it with your friends and family, get as many people as possible, engage in all things Geelong, checking out all the Hoops Crew content. There's lots of good stuff there. Make sure to go check out what the chaps have been putting together. We've also seen the little 10 or 8, I think it's 8 minute long little snapshot from the latest episode of the VFL, the twos. That is there on YouTube for people to check out, and a lot of people have. That is typically behind the Patreon paywall, but that little slice is there to talk about some of the big names in the VFL right now. And one of those is making his debut for the Cats tonight. This weekend. His Geelong debut, I should say. But more on that soon. Ben's been doing post-game live. There's heaps of awesome content there for people to check out. If you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe. Use the comments section. There's plenty of people popping off in the chat already. I've seen LFG. I've seen some little MMO references in there. Where did we go? Ben with the LFG. Of course, he means... No, it's too soon for me to drop those sorts of that sort of language so far. But some looking for groups, some gaming references out there for people tonight. There's going to be lots of gaming conversation, I have no doubt. The chat is popping off. Ben also stresses, and I'm glad he's put that there because I completely forgot. Due to the technical difficulties that he had the other night during post-game live, I have a pizza to give away tonight. Thanks to Shannon Pizza. I don't think I have a graphic for Shannon Pizza here built into the Paul James Show suite of assets, but best comment tonight, free pizza from Shannon Pizza. Thank you very much to them for their continued support. But pop off in the chat, share your thoughts, everything, all things Geelong, all things AFL, keen to hear from you. Of course, anyone who's really looking for that bit of extra spotlight, the super chat function is there for you. Please consider utilizing it. Ben usually does a great job with some cool little conversation starters as well that we look to try and pin. So if you've got thoughts, consider engaging with a super chat as well. You can find me at Paul James Games on the socials. That's Twitter, that's Blue Sky, that's Instagram. And I guess the Hoops Crew's at the Hoops Crew. Thank you to Cyril Cook Florist for their ongoing support of the Hoops Crew. More on them later on. And also, I've alluded to it already, check out the Patreon. We've got, as of last time I checked, 39 patrons on the Hoops Crew's Patreon feed there. 50 is the magical number that we are chasing. That's then going to also get me in Ninja Turtles pajamas. Yeah, anyway, enough of that. Like we're building that community. It's going really, really well. There's lots of exclusives, early access content, and extended content there for you. So consider checking all of that out. All right, let's get into proceedings properly. Thank you to everyone who's already piling in the chat there. It's great to hear from you. Roaming with his Nintendo Switch 2 comments. Absolutely, it is a big day again. Let's get around the fact that we have a brand new Nintendo console and Mario Kart World. And geez, that looks good even when I hold it up there. So if you've got $700 handy, it's worthwhile. All right, let's get into some of the more, I guess, breaking news is maybe a bit of an extreme. It's been, some of these things have been sitting for a couple of days now, but let's get into some of the key pieces of news anyway that have broken over the course of this week. Tom Harley has now been appointed the COO at the AFL. Got some big things that he needs to address in the future. Ben says my lighting looks schmick tonight. I haven't done anything though. I've got to work on the shadows because actually when I hold it here, the color of my face, I like it. So I've got to work on some shadows and some ways to just balance me a little bit more, but we'll get there. Tom Harley is the COO. Massive congratulations to him. He's been doing a fantastic job from the days as captain at Geelong to his days at Sydney to now, obviously, one of the big seats at the AFL. It is awesome to see. And I can see the comments about Ollie Henry. We'll talk about Ollie Henry shortly. But again, patrons, you saw me. I referenced this in the show the other night that I was cooling in my support. That was discussed on the Patreon the other day. So if you want, and I told you so, well, sorry, you take your shots. But I was already on your side as of a few days ago. So here we are. In fact, I jumped ship, and then all of a sudden, Ollie Henry got managed. Maybe it's me making decisions over at the Geelong Football Club. Maybe it's me. Anyway, Big Freeze 11 has launched now, and of course, there's a lot of activity around the Big Freeze this weekend. Jackie, there was a love note to Ollie, but I was also saying that I was cooling. That is documented in video. Please check it out. Big Freeze 11 is launched. Obviously, that's going to culminate with the efforts on Monday. All the sliders are getting announced already. It's really, really awesome. Please consider checking that out. Oh, geez, there's a match playing right now, and I didn't check the scores. That's a concerning start that Roaming's just pinned the Poos and Wees up by 24 points. It's not great. What a quarter time. Oh. Tickets are on sale for round 16 through to 23. So if you've got plans for certain games, and of course we've been talking about Ethan coming across and some meetups for the community. Let's try and organize those things. Get yourselves some tickets to round 16 through 23. And the big one here, and it's been the sad piece of news over the week so far, is that the Tassie Devils are in a pretty bad place right now. There's a lot of political drama. I'm not going to wade into Tasmanian politics because I would have absolutely no idea. But the reality for anyone who's a fan of AFL, or if you're Tasmanian and you had a real investment in the state getting its own team at an AFL level, I'm not going to go as far as say it looks like it's done, but it's looking pretty bleak right now. So I really want to see Tasmania get itself a team in the AFL. And of course, what that means for a 20th team after that remains to be seen. But I really wanted to see that Tasmania get that proper representation. It's really kind of sad to see that things looking so dire at the moment. Hopefully, for any of our Tasmanian viewers tonight, and just anyone who's not watching, but just Tasmanian has a stake or some sort of investment in the team coming to fruition. Hopefully, it can all work out for you. I believe there's some snap election that's coming. There's votes of no confidence and all sorts of things. So who knows how that's going to play out? But I'm a bit concerned for them now. So the AFL, I would say, and actually, I've just spotted it, is kind of nailed. Like the whole, mandate that there has to be a roof has caused obviously a lot of problems here. Ben wants his $20 back for being a foundational member. Jesselenko believes Tassie will be fine. Just send North Melbourne, worked for South Melbourne. Yeah, send them. They might be more relevant as a football club. But we'll see. It's pretty bleak. So we'll see how things work out. But let's get into what you're all here to talk about tonight, and that is, of course, match selection. We've got a few changes this week. You've obviously already been discussing Ollie Henry, but he's not the only player coming in for the Cats tonight. As we bring up the team sheet, we see that for the Suns, Ethan Reid and Ned Moyle are swapping places this week. Ethan Reid in, Ned Moyle out. But for the Cats, these are where the big changes lie. Paddy Dangerfield returns off the back of his hamstring. And Jack Martin, I referenced before, he's playing his first game as a Geelong Cat this weekend. Congratulations to him. Hopefully it goes well. Obviously, there's been quite a history of injuries for Jack Martin in the last few seasons. Hopefully this is the beginning of a rich vein of good form and good health, and hopefully maybe culminating in a premiership later this year. But we'll see how that all works out. Of course, Ollie Henry and Ted Closey being those coming out this week. I'm feeling for Ted Closey. He continued to get so close, get such limited amount of game time. He's probably played more games or been listed officially on the team sheet. Has played more games than he's had minutes on the field so far, which is really unfortunate. But his time will come. He continues when he steps up. He continues, albeit in like 10, 15-minute bursts. He continues to show that he is Worth sticking with, that is part of the future. We just need to see, I guess, that opportunity come his way. So it's sad to see Ted Closey miss out. And Ollie Henry, who, Ben, the graphics, managed. Ollie Henry has been managed. But making way, as we alluded to before, Paddy Dangerfield for game 3 and 48, Jack Martin for game 152, and his first as a Cat. Managed. He's gooder at English than all of us, I swear. On the bench, we see Mitch Duncan, Lawson Humphries, Oisin Mullen, Tyson Stengel, and of course, Jack Martin. One of those players will need to be the substitute going into this match. On the emergencies list, we have Ted Closey, Ollie Henry, and Mitch Nevitt. Mitch Nevitt back in the conversation again, which is awesome to see. I love my man Mitch Nevitt, and I still believe he has a great future ahead of him. We'll just have to see how all that shapes up. On the milestone side, of course, we've alluded to this already. Jack Martin playing his first game as a Cat, and coincidentally, he is going to be playing against the first club that he was picked up by. He was a Gold Coast Sun in early days. Obviously, then shifted down the Eastern Seaboard to play at Carlton, and now with the Cats. So congratulations again to him on his first game, and hopefully it all goes really, really well for him and the team. On the injury list, well, Paddy Dangerfield's still listed as a test, but we know the truth around that now. Jack Bowes has got 1 week to go. Jake Cole-Jasny is still to be confirmed, and Toby Conway is listed as being an indefinite out at this particular point in time. We've got some notable absentees. One that I've seen a few people talking about in the chat, and actually there we go. Jezza Lenko has done it. No Buse again, which sucks. I'm 100% with you, mate. I am all on board the Jed Buse bandwagon. I think he has so much to offer our defensive unit, especially when we're dealing with some, kind of really dynamic smalls. And Jez is right. He deserves better, Chris Scott. Shadu, Toby, I do believe it's only a matter of time. He's going to come good. I think it was his back now, but it's only a matter of time. He'll be back. He'll be there and he'll thrive, and he'll still be a gun ruckman for us in the future. Jed Buse is one of those notable absentees, as is Cam Guthrie, who's still continuing to build himself up through the VFL. I've seen some speculation and some concerns from those who've probably been watching the VFL a bit more than I have, that he seems like he's still a little ways off in terms of getting himself where he needs to be. But it is still a nice step in the right direction. And we know what Cam Guthrie's like. The reality is, if we need him at any stage, we know that we can rely on him to be hot around the ball, to accumulate it pretty well, and to be pretty reliable around the ground. He's got that big frame still. Maybe his body doesn't hold up. He's obviously had a myriad of injuries in recent years. It's been a dogged run ever since winning the premiership in 2022. But hopefully it just comes good. Hopefully he comes good. Aaron suggests that maybe Buse out because there's no matchup. And look, there is some merit to that argument, that right now, I don't see, and I look at the Gold Coast forward line now. He's not the right matchup for a Ben Long, Jed Walter, Ben King. Sam Flanders, more of a forward that just goes into the midfield anyway. Bailey Humphrey is a little bit more, and Jed could handle him, I think. Same with Leo Lombard. I don't think there's any concerns, but I don't think they're the perfect matchup. So we'll see how all that plays out. And we'll continue talking about Jed behind the play. Go check out the episode of Behind the Play that stars Jed Buse. You'll have to go searching for it on the channel. It's been 12 to 18 months now. But it was an awesome episode. Go check that one out. We love you, Jed Buse. In terms of some players under pressure, now I'll bring up the team sheet once again. I don't think... Oh, come on, graphics. I don't necessarily feel like there's anyone on this 23 that we've got for the weekend. Of course, Jack Martin, there's going to be questions because he's playing his first game, but I don't really look at anyone on this list and say, that person is in genuine trouble of missing out on their spot. I know we get the likes of Lucas, shout out, mate, that will say, Shannon Neal needs to go to the seconds, or Jeremy Cameron needs to go to the seconds, and then he kicked 18 goals in 2.5 weeks. We get, there's players that I guess aren't perhaps performing to the level that they could or should be, but I think for structural reasons, there's no scenario I can see where they would actually find their way out. And honestly, I think Shannon Neal's about the only one that perhaps fits that bill at the moment. Some suggestions here from the chat. Where are we? Aaron says Jack Martin, 100% the sub. Shadu suggests Be Wild and start Danger as the sub. That would be interesting. Lucas, with a really important one. The World Test Championship starts the same day as the Geelong game. Post-game live is going to be wild. Let's see how long this one can go for. Ben's been trying to bring down the length of the show recently. But let's be honest. We want a nice, long 2-3 hour post-game live. That's what we're all here for, to rant, rave, and have some fun. So, yeah, I'm kind of pushing back on the on the thing right now. If you want a long show, I'll host it. And Ben, do better. Mullen to Anderson is a really, I think, a great idea as an accumulator. I'm all for it. All right, let's keep moving on here. We've obviously spoken about the opposition now. There's no milestones of any note. And the umpires, Simon Meredith, Lee Fisher, Nathan Williamson, and Nick Foote. Simon Meredith is, I believe, one of the ones that is looking to sue Kane Corns, Daisy Thomas, and Luke Hodge for their comments recently around the concussion and the calls around the concussion, the injury that we had there in the Freo Collingwood game a while back. Hopefully he's got no chip on his shoulder towards anyone and everyone right now. And Geelong benefits from some good decisions this week. Dogs with the momentum now, Ben says. Good. About time. We need to see that basket cases of the Hawthorn Football Club put back in their place once again. Lucas says, yeah, Ben, do better. None of this hour shit. Technical issues last time, kept it to now. But going forward, long shows. That's what we want here, Ben. Jack Martin, 3 votes, says Scars. All right, let's continue into preview mode here. Like some of the key details around this game, it's the Jack Cup, as Ben has dubbed it, for Jack Bowes and Jack Martin. Jack Bowes not even playing in this one. It's at GMHBA, 4:15 Saturday twilight. The forecast currently has the game or the conditions at 15 degrees with a high chance of a shower. It's going to be a little bit sloppy. So it's probably not the worst time for Jack Martin to come in. That small, fleet of foot, silky skills, those sorts of things. I think this could be a really good opportunity for him to thrive when the ball is hitting the deck, probably more than it usually would. Ben points out that Geelong is going to be wearing the white shorts. Okay. I'm not too, I know people kind of getting a bit of a, and I'm not saying Ben, you were, but some people getting a bit of a tizzy about the blue shorts versus the white shorts, home and away. I don't care. They're there to play football. Let's just bank the win. That's what I'm hoping for. Bank the win, and nothing else really matters. Gold Coast is going to be wearing their pink jersey with the black shorts. As I think a lot of people are, I quite like that pink version of the jersey that they've got. So we'll see how it looks contrasted to the Geelong one. I did see the suggestion in the show on Monday that perhaps we wear the training kit that we wore against Hawthorn. That did look really good, to be honest. But it won't happen. Last time we played. Don't really want to talk about last time we played. It's one of those rules of the Paul James show. We don't talk about Geelong and Gold Coast in 2024, but we'll persist because Ben's put in the show notes. The Gold Coast Suns won by 64 points at TIO Stadium in Darwin. They absolutely smoked us. We couldn't lift. Jezza says the jersey looks rubbish. The George Hall and Smith Cup. I like that one. That's the one. The prelim blue shorts. But yeah, Jezza says the jersey's awful. That's fair. Last time we played, speaking of awful, 64 points we went down to the Suns by Graham Myers with 29 disposals and 2 goals. Tyson Stengel with 13 disposals and 3 goals. Looked unreal that night. Max Holmes with 32 disposals and 1 goal. But we got absolutely dominated the other way. Noah Anderson had 42 disposals and 2 goals. All the more reason to send Osh to him on the weekend. Bailey Humphrey had 16 disposals and kicked 5. Jack Lukosius, no longer a Sun, off to the Power and hasn't played, I think, at all for them so far. 16 disposals and 5 goals. Jackie says, talk about the last time we played Gold Coast in Geelong. I actually don't know when that was. 2023? Um, 2023 we lost. 22. I mean, it'll have to be 2022 now. Well, yeah. August 13th, 2022, Cats won by, 60 points. So that is a scoreline I far more approve of. But yeah, it's been the two new clubs, Gold Coast and the Giants. We don't have the greatest winning record against lately. So what's at stake? Well, the stakes for both Geelong and Gold Coast, I think, are pretty straightforward here. Both teams are vying off for the top four. Geelong, obviously, is in the eyes of some, it's been deemed to have had the easiest run into finals at this point. But I think with that said, that means that there's more pressure to bank the win, I would say, internally. Maybe not externally, because people just look at what have you done lately and where are you on the ladder, and that kind of determines how people think of your team, which is ridiculous, but also we know the landscape we're in. I think for Geelong, we've got, in my mind, when I went through the fixture a few weeks back now, and I was kind of looking at the round 16 to 23 and all that was going on there, there was 3 games that I thought were genuine challenge games for the remainder of the season. One of them was this game against the Suns. The other is in 2 weeks from this one against the Lions at GMHBA. And the third one is against the Giants over there at Energy Stadium later in the season. So this is a really important one because we're not going to get many of these opportunities against the really top tier teams for the remainder of the season. We're going to need to bank the wins where we can and kind of, I guess, continue to make those statements, because the ladder position may later on in the year not really represent our form. We might be, winning ugly, winning bad games, those sorts of things. And we don't really want to be doing that. It's similar, I guess, in some ways to the way we won ugly against the Eagles this past weekend. We don't want those sorts of wins to be the wins we're getting under the belt. You want hard fought. You want, putting their best foot forward. You want form that's going to hold up in the finals. So these opportunities, they're few and far between, but let's crush it. And yeah, Gold Coast obviously want to remain relevant. They want to be a contender in the top 4. They want a home final. That'd be huge for the Suns. Their first ever finals appearance, and it's a top 4 spot and a home final. That'd be amazing for them. The game breakers for the Cats, it's a tricky one. I think for us, it's pretty hard. I'm going to bring up the lineup here. I think for us, it's that mid to small forward line. It's Jack Martin, it's Tyson Stengel, it's Brad Close, it's Brian Myers, it's Ollie Dempsey. These guys Jack Martin didn't play, but some of these guys, about 3 of those 4 guys that actually played last week, Tyson Stengel being the exception, really struggled last week when it came to delivering the ball inside 50 with efficiency. Oh, Brian actually, was fine. I take that back. That Shawnee Manor, I should be popping in there. They really struggled with the delivery inside 50. And it was, there was turnovers at some of those critical points inside the ground that resulted in turnovers and the ball whiplashing up the other end of the ground. We can't have that this week against an even higher quality opponent. So I think those mid-smalls in the forward end, they're going to be super, super important. And there's opportunity. They're going to have some tough opponents. John Noble and Daniel Rioli are very, very well equipped to handle players like that. We're going to need to expose them. We're going to need to make them accountable. They can't come running off half back and try and play their own game. We need to be nipping that stuff in the bud as soon as possible. As for the Suns, they're so dangerous through the midfield. So, the suggestions that we saw before that I wholeheartedly agree with, Osh going to the skipper is going to be really, really important. Noah Anderson needs to be kind of squashed. Took Miller, though, can get in there and accumulate. You've got Matty Rowell, who, maybe future Cat, I don't know, but they have got so much depth through the midfield that I'm a little bit concerned about our capacity to break even with them at the very least. But we'll see. It'll be a really interesting one. And that doesn't even factor in the likes of Sam Flanders, who go in there and win the ball and kick goals at will as well. So they're a really potent team. Hopefully, really importantly for us, that Reece Stanley can hopefully have another big game. He did a fantastic job, especially in the last quarter when it was crunch time. Well, this whole game is crunch time, Reece. So have a big one, mate. I'm hoping you can really stick the knees into Jared Witts and run him off his legs. He's the traditional old loping ruckman. Take advantage of that. Get him going the other way. Burn him out. That'll be really, really huge for success in this particular game. And yeah, as I alluded to, the game breakers for the Suns is that midfield. So keys of victory, again, I guess similar to the game breakers, I think it is the I think it's that mid to small forward line. We need a few goals from them, and we need them to keep their defenders accountable. If we can cut that circulation from half back through to the midfield, we cut off a lot of the supply to the Ben Kings and the Ben Longs and the Jed Walters and like some gun mid to tall forwards over there. We need to cut that off at their half back line or our half forward line. And that'll be really, really important. Hashtag Stanley Army, Ben says. All right, let's get into some predictions. I've seen a wild prediction here from Jezelenko that the Cats are going to... Oh, sorry, not from Jezelenko. From Roaming, I should say, that the Cats are going to win by 45 points. I would be incredibly impressed, but also mighty surprised if the Cats go on to win by 45 or thereabouts. I've got the Cats winning, but I've got the Cats winning by about 3 goals. And I think in large part that is because of the weather. I think that is going to keep the game a bit closer. It's going to keep the game more low scoring, and that's definitely going to have a bearing on this result. So I just don't see a scenario where either team, regardless, even if one team dominates the other, I just don't see a scenario where we could get 45 points out in front or that the Suns could do the same. So Cats by 3 goals for me. I'll tip us by 18 points on the dot there. Let's go back to some history. Of course, there's not a lot of history between the two clubs to this point, with the Gold Coast being fairly new, but this is our 17th meeting dating back to 2011. Gold Coast have never won at GMHBA Stadium. They've had 8 losses with an average losing margin of 72 points. The last 6 games between the two teams, Geelong are 4-1. Ben, didn't we establish that we lost in 2023? Geelong, Gold Coast, 2023. The Cats lost by 19 points, and in 2024, we don't talk about it. So his data's a little bit off. We'd be 4 and... Oh, hang on. He's just made a typo. We're 4-2. There's no finals history between the two teams, but that could just be a matter of time, the way the Suns are developing as a football club. We've got some memorable games, though. In 2015, the Cats won by 9 points. Josh Walker kicked 4 goals. Because he was the son at the time. Jack Martin with 21 disposals and 3 goals. Dan Gorringe with 5 disposals. Mitch Clark's 100th game. Mark Blitzar's kicked the winning goal with 90 seconds left. We've got a game in 2013. Gary Jr.'s first trip back to GMHBA or Simmons or whatever we're calling it at the time. It was the first game under lights at KP as well. And Gary kicked that phenomenal goal that evokes so many memories of a beautiful goal that he kicked for the Cats at a really important time against Brisbane in the past. Did it again from his pocket at GMHBA. It looked wonderful, better than the one that he kicked for us, unfortunately. Scores were level at 3-quarter time, though, but Geelong piled it on later on. They kicked 9 goals in the 4th quarter to win by 52 points. There's also 2011. Yeah, the Suns' first year. All right, the Dogs are losing their minds outside. The Suns led by 22 points in the 2nd quarter. It was Gary Jr.'s first game against Geelong. Stevie J had 29 disposals and kicked 7 goals, but the Cats went on to win by 66 points. Now, for a little bit of history between the two clubs, there's some Cats who've joined the Suns. That's Zach Smith, though admittedly he also came from the Suns. George Holland Smith in 2018, Jordan Murdoch in 2018, Gary Ablett Jr. in 2010, Nathan Ablett in 2010. And on the flip side, there are some Suns who've joined the Cats. Most recently, Jack Martin and Jack Bowes, but Gary Jr. in 2017, Zach Smith in 2015, and Josh Caddy in 2012. We're about to get into the rest of the round and all the games being played. But first, let's take a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's continue on. I've quickly projected the scores because I've seen the chat. He did come from Carlton, but he also played at Gold Coast Suns beforehand. He was one of their 17-year-old draft picks back in the day, and then shifted over to the Blues after that. sorry. Let's continue to push on here. Ben's gone and thrown me off with some last minute graphics that he's provided me. We can see the scores, and the Hawks just piled on another goal as well. So they're holding a 24-point lead late in the second quarter. The Doggies need to pull their finger out. I tipped them by 30 points, and you just don't want a bad result affecting your margin with the Friday night game. It's just the worst in those footy tipping comps where margin is a factor for the first game of the round. Sucks. Anyway, what also sucks is the Hawthorn are an overrated team and they're still winning right now. Come on, Doggies, get around them. Bringing up what I need. There it is. Download that one for shortly. Let's go around the grounds, though, and look at all of the other matches to be played this weekend. We've, of course, spoken about the Dogs and the Hawks that are playing right now at Marvel Stadium, but we've also got Adelaide and Brisbane at Adelaide Oval. I would expect, I'm sure most, well, I actually don't know what to expect. I'm a bit torn on this game at the moment. It's one of the games that I am probably most unsure of this particular weekend. I'm tipping the Lions because I just don't think the Crows have really gotten the big scalps that they need yet, and Brisbane have been there and done it and proven themselves. Their form hasn't been amazing, but I'm going to back the Lions in for this one. Richmond, Sydney, as much as Sydney is sneaking up, surely they get the win in this one. But if there was a time where Richmond would get them, it'd be now. Geelong and the Gold Coast we've discussed already. Cats by 18 points is my tip. The Giants to beat the Power. West Coast and North is a tough one. What is Hands Oval? Is that one of the games that they've sold to Perth? What's Hands Oval? Is that Bunbury? It is. It's Bunbury. Right. Okay. North to win that one, though, you would think, but I don't say it with any sort of conviction at all. Thank you, those who are jumping in, clarifying the Bunbury factor. Where are we? Carlton and Essendon. Carlton. And the Pies to smash the Ds on King's birthday Monday. Beyond that, there's some other there's a couple of teams with a bye, Fremantle and St Kilda. We've got some milestones this weekend. Jack Sinclair will be playing his 200th game, but more importantly, we don't care about other teams. The VFL men, they're playing against the Gold Coast Suns. It's a curtain raiser, 11:05 a.m. at GMHBA on Sunday. It's not a curtain raiser at all. We play on the Saturday. Wait, when do we play? Yeah, we play on the Saturday. What are they anyway? GMHBA Stadium there for that one. The VFL women's team is playing against North Melbourne Saturday at 2:45 at the Avalon Airport Oval. Home ground advantage, lol, for North. What a joke of a football club. All right. I'm going to prepare a graphic and make sure everything is working for me first, because we are going to get into conversation about the legendary Tom Atkins. There we go. Bring it up. Boom. There he is. He's recently signed a 2-year extension for the Cats, which has been fantastic news. He's the 1,081st player to wear the Cats hoops. At 29 years old, he's in his 7th season. Obviously, as many will recall, he was a late pickup. He was a mature age player, having been doing an amazing job in the VFL for quite some time. Scars. What do the people of Bunbury deserve to deserve this game? It's a fair point. Like, at least give them some premium matchups. Good Lord. Roaming's kind of, I think, half onto something here. So they use Hands Oval for their hands to store the extra money that they're getting for playing there. That's more that they're putting their hands out for money. It's just a whole other market of players that they could potentially get, of people where they can get some money from, some people not exposed to as much AFL football as there are elsewhere. So it's a chance to try and poach a few fans and maybe get their membership count from 10,000 to 10,001. So 7th season for Tommy Atkins, 138 games now so far with 20 goals to his name. He is, of course, a 2022 Premiership player and has been voted the best clubman in 22, 23 and 24. He was the runner-up for the Cargie Greaves medal in 2023 and has now played in 12 finals. 5 qualifying finals, 2019, 20, 21, 22, and 24. The semi-final in 2019 and 2021, the prelim finals of 2019, 21, 22, and 24, and he's played in one grand final, a successful campaign in 2022. He was drafted, as I mentioned before, he was a mature age pick with pick 11 in the 2019 rookie draft from the Geelong VFL team. And Jackie, odds on for 2025 too. I mean, for all those things we've highlighted, for all the finals, that feels like a possibility. No reason to think he won't be the best clubman again. Maybe he's a premiership player. There's so many possibilities with him this year. Ben says he would do anything for Tom Atkins. You've got a partner, Ben. Please respect her. But I won't do that. He didn't say that. I know you're quoting lyrics, but he didn't say that. That draft class that included Tom Atkins through the rookie draft also included Jordan Clark, now at the Fremantle Dockers, and Darcy Fort, premiership player at Brisbane last year. He debuted in round 1 2019 against the Pies, and his career highs. Here's some career high figures for you. 34 disposals in a match. He's kicked 2 goals in a match before. He's had 3 goal assists, and his career high tackles is 17. Currently, right now, he is about 30 tackles clear of the next best in the AFL right now. That's Jack Graham from the West Coast Eagles. He's doing a power of work defensively right now. So, wonderful player, wonderful asset to the Cats, and we love having you, Tom Atkins. He's also a pretty humble bloke. And Ben has pulled a quote here. I feel like it was maybe last year that this comment was made. He said, "I don't care where I play. I'm just happy to be in the 22 at the moment. There's a lot of great guys in the VFL that are missing out at the moment. So I think we owe it to them to play well. I owe it to them because I'm on the fringe. So I'm just happy that we're able to win." And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a comment last year, if I recall. But it just shows the quality of the bloke. Never taking it for granted. Always head down, bum up, and attacking the ball in the hardest, most aggressive ways possible. You love watching him play football. This is in the last show, we did that segment. We were talking about my favorite player from every team in the competition, and the common thread was physical, aggressive at the ball, and he fits that bill perfectly. Ben says that I'll do an hour and 15 tonight. We'll see. Again, I'm just watching the intro video of Mario Kart play over and over and over. It's teasing me, Ben. Moving on from that quote, which was a fantastic one. He's joined the AFLW coaching panel for 2025. And the number 30, an iconic number within the Cats, Matty Scarlett, a 2007, 9, and 11 premiership player and best key back of all time, has also worn that number. Jim Norman, a 1951 and 1952 premiership player. John Scarlett, of course, as well. So Matty's dad, 183 games for the Cats. And Damien Burke with 102 games for the Cats. That is all of the core run of show for the Paul James Show tonight. We've gotten through this a little bit faster than usual. More time for Mario Kart. So let's get into some Q&A now. But Ben has also spliced some trivia in for us. Do you remember? And I think everyone knows this answer because it's I find it one of the funniest moments that I've ever seen in football. So here's your first trivia question, chat. Have at it. Which team did Gold Coast defeat for their first ever win? Looking for your answers. No, Jackie, not Richmond. That win did come not long after, if I recall, but it was not their first win. Jared's nailed it. It was Port Adelaide. They banked their first win against Port. Absolutely loved it. Seventh rule of the Paul James Show. We don't talk about Tom's driving. No, we don't. Yeah, Jared's nailed that one. Port Adelaide was the team that they got their first win against. Oh, my Lord. This one is a crazy number. Next question for everyone. What was Gary Ablett Jr.'s highest number of disposals in a game for the Suns? Which I think is also his career high. But what was the largest number of disposals that Gary Ablett Jr. got in a game for the Suns? Jackie says 47. Higher. Roaming says 39. Higher. Scars says 52. Higher. 41. Higher. 48. Higher. 52. Higher. Jackie, too high. Tezelenko, too high. 64. Good number. Video games. Too high. 54. Too high. 55. Too high. 50. Too low. Jezza and Aaron with 53 get in first there. 53 is the number. 53 disposals in 2012 against the Pies. And I remember hearing about this one where like Daisy Thomas talks about it fairly regularly, where he was told to go tag Gary Ablett. 53 disposals later. It's a good one. It was 25 more disposals than the next best son, which was Harley Bennell, with 28 disposals. So 53 is the number there. Congratulations, Aaron, on being the first in that matchup. Jackie asked, how many did Swanee get in that game? Let's have a look. Collingwood and Gold Coast, 2012 result. Disposals. So Gary Ablett had 53. Next best was Harley Bennell with 28. For the Pies, it looks like Swanee didn't play that game. So in that particular matchup, the best, as far as disposals, are concerned. Oh, by the way, Gary Ablett was operating from those 53 disposals. Sit down and Jezelenko says you were first. I'm looking at the thread of comments here that appear in StreamYard for me, and Aaron is there first. And if we really want to get technical, I think Scars made a typo. He said 553. But anyway, just buckle in for this one. 53 disposals at 95% efficiency from Gary Ablett Jr. that day. That is disgusting how good that is. Or is that the percentage of game time played? I don't know. It can't be the percentage of game time played. Scott Pendlebury played 40% of that game. Just not happening. Just not happening. But yeah, the best for the Pies was Dane Beams with 32. Dale Thomas also had 32. So he was, fighting the good fight against Gaz. Just went down by 21 disposals. Alan Didak with 29. Sharad Wellingham with 27. And the final result in that match was that despite Gary Ablett's 53 disposals, the Pies won 23 goals, 11, 149 against the Suns, 7, 10, 52. Gary Ablett didn't kick a single goal with those 53 disposals. Jamie says, fuck off forever Gold Coast. What was that in reference to? I missed I hate that they poached Gary. Yeah. It hurts still. From memory, Gaz cracked 200 in Supercoach. Wouldn't surprise me. That's an absurd game. All right. Next bit of trivia for everyone here. Fox Footy says the dogs are off their tucker. Right. Trivia again relating to Gary Ablett Jr. What is Gary Ablett Jr.'s personal best for tackles in a game? Gary Ablett Jr. tackles in a game, not specifically at the Cats, not specifically for the Suns, just what is his PB? Seriously, poor Gary for having to put up with that rabble. Jackie says 14, higher. So Jimmy, higher as well. Jared, 13. Scars says 18. It is lower than 18. It is higher than 14. Jackie's nailed it with 17. He also only got 30 disposals, 3 goals, 17 tackles, and only did enough to get the 2 votes in that game. from the Brownlow. Properly get fucked, AFL umpires. Roaming might have had his cat walk across the keyboard. So we'll see how that. There's some interesting things resembling words appearing on the screen in the chat right now. Good luck to everyone trying to survive roaming for the next few minutes. Or roaming's cat, who's, I don't know if you've got a cat, but I presume, based on seeing this, that you must have one walking across your keyboard. Aaron says pre-shoulder. Yeah, I would imagine it's probably pre-shoulder injuries. Our final trivia question tonight is, how many games did Jack Martin play in the first 13 weeks of his debut season in 2014? That's such a specific question, Ben. How many games did Jack Martin play in his first 13 weeks of his debut season? Jackie says 0. Higher. Lucas says 8. Lower. Jezelenko says 6. Lower. Lower than 6. Lower than 4. Lower than 4. Lower than 5. Lower than 3. Jackie nails it with 1. He played 1 game, busted up his shoulder. I think it was. I'll have to double check. But he played the 1 game, got injured, and then didn't return till round 14. And he was like the number 1. He was like the priority pick. Roaming's having another fit at the keyboard. Sending our best regards to you, Roaming. Hopefully you survive this assault from your feline friend. All right, that is the trivia done for tonight. Let's get into some Q&A. Ben's popped one little prompt in it. Jackie's absolutely on fire. In fact, Ben, are you watching? Are you listening, Ben? Jackie gets the pizza tonight. Nailing the trivia time and time again in this one. Jackie gets the pizza from Postgame Live the other night, the Shannon Pizza. Congratulations, Jackie. You've earned it. So yeah, the other prompt that Ben's popped, you got hacked by my cat. There we go. So was I right? It was a cat then? Yes, let's get around Jackie. She's a star. Gets the pizza from Shannon Pizza. He's always jinxed by injuries. The question that Ben's popped in there for people. There we go. Ben's dropped the pizza emoji. He's listening. Ben, get Jackie a pizza. Should Kane Corns apologise to the umpires over the Lockie Schultz comments? And I guess by extension, that's not just Kane Corns. That is Daisy Thomas losing to Gary Ablett, 53 disposals to 32. And Luke Hodge. Should they... Oh, there we go. And sorry, Jackie, Ben says to DM him for so he can get your details for the pizza. So please just shoot him a DM. Twitter's probably the best, I'd imagine. Should Kane Corns or any of those 3 apologise for their comments about the umpires? I mean, right now, obviously, there's legal possibilities right now. So I guess we'll see how all that plays out. It's a really fascinating situation right now. But look, I would say no. I mean, there's probably going to be an apology, and it's probably going to be a behind-the-scenes apology. But Jimmy's, I think, actually nailed it. Laura Kane needs to apologise to them. The media reported what the AFL told them, and they were told the wrong thing. What else? Like, you're reporting on what is supposed to be fact. It's coming from the governing body in that scenario. So I agree. An opinion is, and actually, yeah, Scars nails it. An opinion's an opinion. I would say that up to an extent. And the reason I'm saying that applies up to an extent is you can have an opinion and it can get to a point of defamation if you're not careful about it. Now, I would say this doesn't fit that bill in my opinion, but you can get to a point where defamation comes into it. And, I guess speaking for our Geelong community, for our Geelong bubble right now, that is why we as a Hoops crew have largely refrained from talking about old mate TB. It is a tricky situation right now to talk about what has been going on for Tanner Bruin. I'm sure that there was meant to be like a court date that was yesterday. and we haven't heard any results, so I don't even know what's going on there. So right now we just continue to sit and say and do nothing because we don't want to put our foots in it or foots. Managed did. Fuck. Thank you, Jackie. Foots. Managed did. Anyway, I'm a math teacher. You're right, Shadu. I'm a math teacher whose English results were even higher, even greater than my maths ones. I got a study score of 47 for my English and a 46 for my maths methods. I do English gooder than all of you, I think. I hope. Maybe I don't. I'm also a published author these days. Anyway, Scars gets us back on topic here with TB. He's innocent until proven otherwise. I think it is a very good approach to bring to any of these types of situations. But the point I guess I'm trying to make with it is that if you speak out of turn, if you speak incorrectly, what ends up being incorrectly, whoa. Anyway, I'll try and remain on topic. It's very important to make sure that you speak properly in these situations. You don't want to overstep boundaries. You don't want to defame because it gets you in a real tight situation, and potentially opens you up to legal trouble. So I can appreciate where the umpires are coming from. I think they're getting a bit heavy-handed in this scenario. But yeah. Amy's like me. I haven't seen updates anywhere. Should do. Speaking of DMs, if you want to just drop something into my Twitter DMs, I'll. Oh, damn it! I think I just saw something on Discord. That'll work as well. Hang on. Oh, right. It's all. I can see your comments. I won't get too carried away with it. Look, what I'll say, because it's all rumor and speculation in the first place. It's coming from the big footy scandals board, which whatever. There's apparently some hearing evidence testing in September, potential trial afterwards. So it's basically kicking the can further down the road. From the way I interpret that. So we'll continue to wait. We'll continue to see. We'll continue to have the finger injury looming large as the worst and most egregious finger injury of all time. I guess he's not actually listed on the Geelong website anymore because they've wizened up to all the comments and questions and concerns. But yeah, that is that situation right now. Let me know what other topics you wish to discuss. We've got Roaming here, who is just asking the question for everyone: who is the last Big Freeze person? Hint: car for everyone. You're going to give us a car? Oh wow, this is a lot. Shadu's continuing to deliver in a DM here, and I will not be reading this one out from what I can already see. Bear with me for a second while I read through the details here. That's a thing. All right. We'll continue on, and in the meantime, we'll just kind of keep the scores handy. The Dogs, the Hawks kicked a few back. The Dogs piled them back on quickly afterwards. There was quite a few goals in the last 5 to 10 minutes of football, but currently they still trail by 23 points. Was there like a double goal to the Worm? Doesn't make sense to me. Hang on. Let me screen share that. Not okay. We love you. We love you, Axe. That's not what I was after. We notice 2 goals for this, and then suddenly a big jump. Was there a double goal? Did maybe your child kick one and the match feed's not working for me? Let's go to the timeline. I don't understand what's going on there. The Worm doesn't make any sense at all. 1 goal, 2 goals. What seems to be 1 goal, and they no comprende. Super goals only for Hawthorn. Dogs had 1 overturned. Could be that. Scars says goal after the siren, but that's not being recorded here either based on that. There's a little gap too. Looks like based on the timeline here, there was also about 20 seconds between maybe your Charles goal and then presumably the siren. So I don't quite know what to make of that. Apparently, Bond's goal ended up being touched, so I guess they just haven't fixed the Worm here. I don't know. It is what it is. Currently, the scores, though, the Dogs 4-5-23, trailing the Hawks 8-4-52. Ben asks for some Jack Martin debut predictions. I think a lot of it depends on whether he's the sub or not, and if we're still continuing to try and manage him a little bit as he eases his way back into the level, then I could see this not being an almighty rush to get him big minutes. And that might impact his numbers. I'm going to say 15 disposals for Jack Martin in his debut. A solid, like a good, effective, useful 15 disposals. If the Hawks win, what will all the footy talk shows talk about this week? They'll find another scapegoat. Don't worry about it. Has Martin been playing halfback in the VFL? I actually haven't seen where he's been playing in the VFL. I've seen the numbers, but I haven't been paying attention where he comes from. Lucas says, got excited to see the first light 007 game, release date 2026. Stay tuned. It is the game of the show. I'll be playing that trailer shortly. If your team colours rhyme with... Do you get double goals? Right. If Hawks win, we write. Yeah. Come on, doggies. All right, Lucas. You've pushed me into it. We're getting into Game of the Week now. It's time. I heard all of you shouting for it. All of you. And we're all fans of film here, and I'd imagine not necessarily all, but a lot of you are probably fans of the James Bond or 007 movies. Well, it's not GoldenEye. GoldenEye was a classic of the Nintendo 64 era, but it gives off a lot of Uncharted vibes, really, actually. This is 007 First Light from IO Interactive, the developers of the Hitman franchise. And they're working with one of the biggest light licenses in the world. So let's get into this trailer.
His parents cut their own rope to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain. He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Always at odds with authority, same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
So you shouldn't have.
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
009 is a master manipulator. Whatever the endgame is, we won't see it coming.
Jet lag. Gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
With respect, Mom. To hell with that.
Tell me, what do you do, James?
Lately, headhunting. I suppose this is another teachable moment.
So that is Mario Kart. That is First Light 007, or 007 First Light, I should say. That game is so unbelievably good. And that is one of many games I feel like I could show. We've just come from a massive PlayStation showcase this morning. There was a whole bunch of really awesome games shown. I'd struggle to just pick one of them, really. But that's what I chose. And I don't know. It's a licensed franchise, so I don't know, Ben, if I just got us demonetized or not. Get off the game and touch grass. This is where it's at, my friend. Mario Kart. You can do a race with me. Let's see if I can. We'll just see if we can win it live on it. Oh, geez, I'm off the track. Come on, let's go. Always a good time when you get hit by a lightning bolt. Anyway, we'll make our way to first here. You bastard. Oh, who red shelled me? Pricks. 1, 2, 3. Rightful throne first. Playing at 150cc. Anyway, enough of the Mario Kart live play. Grass makes you go slower, though. Roaming says, I think I signed up for Geelong. Try not to watch someone play Mario Kart. Mate, I'm not sleeping, Ben. Anyway, so that was First Light 007. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw from the trailer. And where did my show notes go? What else with a few minutes? Like, I haven't seen too many kind of questions popping in so far. I do see Lucas also, ask, was it free roam like Hitman? No, I'd imagine it's probably going to be a bit more enclosed like Uncharted. But remains to be seen, I guess. Maybe there's some open spaces where you can kind of take out targets your own way. We'll see. So, any last minute questions at all? Or we might bring the show to a close. We do, of course, have the Dogs and the Hawks playing now, and it's a really fascinating situation. The Dogs have got it back to 22 points with an early behind to James Harms, who's never been able to kick to save himself. 007 looks fantastic. Open world games are the best, IMO. Up to a point, there's too much. Why is Geelong so bad? Asking shit questions. Why is Geelong so bad? Well, we're not. Hang on. Now you're just asking Lucas questions, roaming. Now these are just questions like Lucas. You trying to say Lucas' questions and ideas are shit? Who is leading Brownlow votes for us? I mean, it's Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith is leading not just for Geelong, he's leading the Brownlow right now. So I've got no doubt about it at this particular point. Is John going to get the premiership this year? I'm going for Hawthorn. Oh, you are like making foolish comments. LA Noir was a great game. Want a sequel, but yeah, Team Bondi is dead, so no good there. Jez is just getting junk time goals, a bit of Bazball, Baz Lenker and Dacos for sure. I don't think Dacos is anywhere near the lead. I don't think he's played that great of a season so far. Are they still paying players in pizza? Only Shannon Neal. Would you extend the show if someone dropped a $300 super chat? Without doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. If someone dropped a monster super chat, this show goes on for another hour. I did. I've really thrown roaming off with a bit of Mario Kart. And really, it's great fun. Let's get going. But to Ben's point, if some big ass monster sized super chat came in, I guess hang on, we're that close. We're in the third lap. We've got to win this race. We're bearing with me now. We're finishing this one. If some big ass super chat came in, we'll stick around. We might even kind of do a bit of a watch party for the rest of the match. But I can't guarantee that I won't be playing. Oh no, battery's running low. Probably because I was let the console sit in idle while we were. Oh come on, no one get me now. No one get me now. Boom. My man, Cooper Troopers first. All right, more questions. Does Danger missing 2 games impact All Australia number 9? Look, it certainly has a bearing on it, I think, for sure. Don't you know it, Ben? It absolutely has a bearing. I mean, if you're down to a scenario where you've got 2 players, you can't, it's a bit of a toss of the coin, and one of them has played more football than the other, then it absolutely hurts. So we'll have to see how that works out for Danger. But I mean, honestly, he'd be fine if he doesn't get it and gets the premiership medallion at the end of the year. To walk away being a premiership captain, huge. Also, I think if that happens, he retires based on recent history. Selwood, Ling, Harley, they've all done the same thing. So I'm going to charge my Switch here. There we go. Console battery, 14%. Hawks by 28. What else do we have? Did you see SEN champion data talk about our poor defense? Do you think it's accurate? What needs improvement? I think the reason why firstly, statistically, our defense just isn't as bad as what the champion data thing might suggest. And that's simply because, you've only got to look at Fox Footy post the window. Like, if you just look at the points for, points against, we're outside of that ideal, the optimal, was it? I think they narrowed it down to 6. I think we're 7th or 8th for points against at the moment. But at a time when we got scored pretty heavily against, we were still winning, but we were getting scored heavily against, was a time when we were depleted in defense. So our numbers are skewed by the fact that the Soldiers weren't there. So I'm not I'm not overly concerned about our defense at all. And, Champion Data or anyone else actually can generate those numbers, but data is designed to be read into for things to be inferred and to complement other pieces of information. Data on its own can be very misleading. And without that context, it's kind of useless. So anyway. Jezza says Mario Kart looks awesome. Oh, geez, it feels awesome to play. Jezelenko says I'm on Baz Tyson watch. They seem to have a good connection. They do. Who plays on Matty Rowell? Jezelenko says. Who plays on Matty Rowell? Axe. Oh yeah, and so you replied with that Atkins or Blitz. I'm going to say Tommy Atkins. They can just go head to head, just bash heads for the whole day. Lucas asks, "Am I a fan of third-party devices like the Steam Deck consoles? I want to get the Asus, like the ROG Ally X, I think is the most recent one at the moment. But I also believe that there is a portable handheld version that is kind of tailored for Xbox that's coming out really soon. It's still going to have the normal functionality, but it's also going to be compatible with Xbox stuff and allow you to stream your games to it and all those from it and those sorts of things. So, so I'm kind of holding off on that. I've never been much of a PC. My Steam library is pretty small. I've been a console guy my whole life, so there's not a huge deal of incentive for me to get one outside of when it comes to me receiving review codes and those sort of things. I could maybe take PC as an option and then play it on my ROG Ally X or my Steam Deck or whatever it happens to be. So that's my stance on that one. Amy says for All Australian, they need to play 16 or 18 games. Can't remember which one. I think it might be 16. And Danger's obviously on track for that at the moment, despite missing a few games. Ben asks, Glenn, are you related to Tom Atkins? Let's bring up Glenn's picture here. Take a look at him in the corner there. You think that man's related to Tom Atkins? We're out of Fox Footy's premiership window because of our defense. Yeah, and again, I think going back to my point about data before, without context, data is irrelevant. And so I think it's missing that context of Geelong missing a whole bunch of players at the time. Shadu says Tom Stewart still doesn't look right, lacking his intercepting magic in the air. But also, that job is being pretty well shared right now. So I just don't think he's needing to deliver in that respect as much as he once has. That load's being shared, and I think that's really important for his longevity. And I think we can always rely on the fact that when it comes down to it, he will be able to do that job without any doubt. If we need to smash that glass, we can. Jimmy expands, the champion data thing on SEN was looking at the last 6 weeks only. We've only just got some of the players back. Champion data are questionable anyway. 100%. Again, it's all just one piece of data. Atkins v. Rowell, to quote the KFC ad, shut up and take my money. That'll be a great battle. Jackie says, I agree with SEN. I think the point was that we are moving the ball so quickly from D50 to F50 that when we don't deliver properly into forward 50, we expose our defense. Exactly what happened last week. Shadu says, we don't respond well to the fast handball game. We saw the Eagles play and the Suns are masters at it. Hope our defense is more solid next week. Yeah, we've got to set ourselves up. I just saw the next comment from Ben. Get fucked, mate. Yeah, I mean, we don't structure up. Like when we go rocketing forward, we're not structuring ourselves up properly behind the ball, which leaves ourselves vulnerable to the fast handball game and those sort of things. Paul looks like an older, grumpier version of that kid from Love Actually. I'll raise you. Or Gary Rowan, agreed. Jackie's in there. We all miss Gary Rowan. Yeah, I don't know if it was 1 year too soon, potentially, but we'll see. Roaming says, I've ruined Mario Kart World for him, and I'm not buying it now. You showed it all. I showed you 3/4 of one track. We can do another one. Having said that, we did well to shut down the Dogs handball game in the first half. We did. No, I think we can absolutely handle it. It's just about, I guess, the pairing of the offensive and defensive games. Oh, I won't do another race now. What do we got going on here? Dogs have kicked a goal, 22 points again. Latham Vandermeer. who was a little pissant against us the other week, the way he was carrying on like a pork chop. Douchebag. Wrap it up, Ben says. Let's wrap it up. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, like you said. All right. It is actually the perfect time for it. I'm going to go inside. I'm freezing my ass off in here. Thank you all for having tuned into the show, as always, and getting busy in the chat. If you've enjoyed this show, please subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube, like the video, share it with your friends, tell your friends and family, get them all around what we are doing here at the Hoops Crew, build that community. We want more voices in our live shows and more engagement. We are just trying to grow and grow and grow and give you more of what you love. Share your thoughts. So many of you have been doing so already in the live chat tonight. But if you're watching this after the fact, consider using the comment section. Share your thoughts on all of the various conversations today. Looking forward to picking through your thoughts in the comment section there. And consider going forward, unless what did Ben say, $300. If someone decides to drop a $300 donation, we'll cut this right here and we'll get back to the show. But consider utilizing that super chat function. Ben usually does a pretty good job of creating some nice engaging points of conversation that we can use the super chat function for. And look forward to hearing your thoughts there in the future. It also does, like a bit like the subscriptions, does help the Hoops Crew to grow that income, albeit in small chunks. We don't want people getting ridiculous about it. As nice as it is to get some big super chat donations, sometimes we don't want you going crazy with it. We thank you all for that support, though. You can find me on socials, Paul James Games on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew you'll find at the Hoops Crew. Thank you to our sponsor once again, Cyril Cook Florist, and of course to Shannon Pizza, who provided the pizza that Ben didn't give away on Sunday night. That is going to Jackie for her amazing responses to trivia before. Thank you to both Cyril Cook and Shannon Pizza for your constant support of all things Hoops Crew. And finally, there's our Patreon. If you're enjoying what we're doing here at the Hoops Crew, consider subscribing to our Patreon. I'm going to double check now. But as I mentioned earlier, last I checked, there was 39 patrons. There are 39 paid up patrons right now at the $5 tier or higher, checking out all things Hoops Crew. We thank you all from the very bottom of our hearts for your ongoing support of all that we get up to. It's really, really valuable as we continue to grow and reinvest those funds in this business that we are trying to make into something much bigger that can produce more content that you want and care about. So thank you, every single one of you who's been contributing there. We very much appreciate it. And we look forward to hopefully providing you a product that you enjoy for the many years to come. There's also a whole bunch of exclusives there on the Patreon. So you've got exclusive shows of the twos. You've also got the scratching post from me. We're trialing some of the match watch-alongs with Ben. They're going to be there. The Chaps Chat Cats do extended versions of their shows. We've got all sorts of stuff that you can find on our Patreon. So that is patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where you can sign up there for $5 per month and get all of that stuff delivered to your email inbox. There's also a 7-day free trial if you like that idea. Thank you all, as always, for supporting the show tonight. It's been very much appreciated. All of you, pumping all those good nights in there. Have you ever felt like this when Paul James flipped us all off? I didn't flip you all off. It was just for Ben. And it's still just for Ben. Everyone get around the Cats this weekend. If you're going to the game at GMHBA, get loud, please. We all, I think, here in this chat are of the same mind that the Geelong crowd can get a bit subdued and a bit tame at times. This is a seriously tough opponent coming to town. We need to make it a hostile environment. Get loud, get hostile, get animated. Don't get abusive. Don't be a dick. But just get around the Cats. Oh, did I flip everyone off? Okay, sorry. Get around the Cats this weekend, and let's hope they can bank a win against a really difficult opponent. Lucas just drops in there, and shout out to Vince, who's been dealing with mental health issues. All the best to her. She's doing well. I think from all of us at the Hoops Crew, to Vince and to anyone who might also be struggling in various different ways or just finding it difficult because there's a lot to life right now, a lot going on, and it makes things a bit crazy. I said this a lot in the last month off the back of the Selwood video, but This is a community, and in our community, we care for and look after each other. So if you need anything, please reach out to myself, Ben, the chaps. Use the Discord community and chat there. Talk about what it is that's going on. Even if you're not asking for help, but just dump the things that you're going through into the chat, and people can just talking makes so much difference to just get things out there that you're not too much for people. So please, Vince or anyone else who's struggling, reach out. We're all there, happy to chat. Oh my God. And so the chats still continue to pop off. There's lots of good nights. Pump the song, Paulie, Ben says. Ben does not have enough rules. Elbow clapping the poos and wheeze. More rules are coming. The banger play that plays post-game live banger. Ben, I don't think you haven't put it in the video clips bit. It's not there for me to use. So sorry, I don't have it as an asset. But the crowd could play the post-game live banger. Let's get that going. That'd be huge. Is TB bad? I think he's reserving judgment. Embrace J-Lo. Let's get loud. Please get loud. Don't boo Matty Rowell. No, applaud Matthew Rowell. Win him over. Win his heart. That's Paddy Dangerfield in 2015. Do it. Amy says, lots of love to Vince. Roaming, be like me. Lots of birds. They need to hear the post-game live to pump the boys up. No worries, Jezza. Hopefully that is useful to someone. Kool-Aid or beef Wellington? This is the best question of the night. My favorite meal is beef Wellington. My wife despises beef Wellington. So if you know a restaurant that makes a really mean beef Wellington, if you can make a really mean beef Wellington, we need to talk. I need a beef Wellington. I literally was pleading with family the other day who do a really good job of it just to invite me over for a low-key dinner sometime so I can have it. Because, my God, I need one. It's such a good dish. Oh, sorry, accidentally clicking buttons. All right. I have seen Recipe Tin Eats. I can do it. I don't know. I'm lazy. It's time. Little children. And it's not going to be appreciated by my family in the house, so I need to go get it somewhere else. Jez is offering beef welly if I come to Perth. You've almost just guaranteed a flight to Perth sometime soon. Party at Paul's. Maybe one day. I've got to clear the family out. All right. Thank you all. Lob going for goal. Good. Let's it's just been seesawing back and forth though. Come on, dogs. You need another one. Anyway. Thank you all, as always, for your constant support. Roy Lob missed. For your constant support of the Hoops crew. It has been a pleasure, as always, to have you on board. And until next time, remain Geelong strong. Go Cats. Get loud at the ground this weekend. I will see you later.